MAXHUB.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Amy, back. You're back from a vacation. I'm back from a
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah,
Wow, it's good to get some time off, isn't
I know. It was
it?
amazing, life-changing. Pretty good,
Life changing. Oh yeah.
pretty good vacation. At least mine was. I went to
Hold
Hawaii.
on. Here's the difference. You went to Hawaii. I stayed at home, right? I mean, so it's just. I guess I played a lot of golf, so I guess that was good. I still suck at golf, but I guess that's the way life is.
Yeah, I was on a golf course, but I did not play. Our hotel was right backed up to a golf course, so beautiful view.
Nice. That was a bit
Yeah,
gorgeous.
Sam
So,
says I'm the only one who could come back from Hawaii and not be tan. So
did you not go to the beach at all, or?
Oh, no, we went to the beach. I use a lot of sunscreen. My legs got tan, but and my arms,
Right.
but my face, I try to wear hats and I don't want to get super tan on my face. So
So my wife, because we try and golf every weekend. She gets a kick out of it because she gets this really bad ankle tan, right? So literally, she'll wear her golf shoes, and then she'll have like shoe high socks, right? And then she has her yoga pants or her leggings on. So there's that much of her ankle showing. That is the darkest tannest brown on her body, and she hates it because she puts shorts on and there's this little bitty tan spot, right? So you get a
like
kick
an
out of it.
ankle tattoo, huh?
It's an ankle. It's an ankle tattoo. It's hilarious to look at. I'm like, oh man. I get this last week though. She got really burnt just on her chest and her shoulders. I think it was, what was it? Maybe Saturday last week. Sun was just out in force, and it wasn't hot. It's just no clouds at all. It was crazy. We're like, whoa, a little sunburn there. So, but
Yeah, yeah, it is hot over there. And that's the other thing. My husband lived in Hawaii for 8 years. He went to University of Hilo. So I don't know if you know that, but he just tells me like you got to make sure you put a lot of sunscreen on between 10 and 2 because that's the hottest part of the day, even if it's cloudy. We
nice.
saw a lot of people who were unhappily burnt over there. So that's why I sunscreen a lot. So
Hey, and I want to say that I just noticed in the chat. Hey, hello from Kuwait. We have somebody from Kuwait that logged in.
oh,
Hold on.
nice. Oh, okay. I see that.
So so once again, a lot of people know I have 7 kids. So it's hard for me to say my middle child because I got a bunch of middle child. But my 24-year-old daughter, she's actually in Hawaii now. Her fiance is stationed in the Navy over there, so she goes like for a month at a time, to say that way. And she went out one day and she said, "Pop, I put sunscreen on in the morning. I put it on in the afternoon, but that night, oh, your email popped up.
Oops, sorry.
No problem. But like at night, I got home and I was like a lobster. And I have 2 of my daughters are like they're like porcelain skin. They're just so white. And she's one of them. And she was like, it was horrible. She like it was bad for like 3 days. So you got to be careful in the sun. It will definitely it'll make you suffer at times. So, but I see we got more people joining us. We're gonna start in about 5 minutes. Okay, I gotta ask Amy because you're on vacation, but I'm sure the Super Mario movie, right? Hear a lot of feedback on it.
I actually did see it. My son,
Did see it.
he's 6. Yeah, he was so crazy. He wanted to see it. So that's the first time I've ever seen a movie in Hawaii.
Boy,
But it took 3 hours, yeah, out of the middle of the day, and we watched it because he was begging to see it, and it was like opening day or something on
right.
the 7th when we got there. So yeah, he really wanted to see it. So I have seen it and I thought it was hilarious.
Really? Okay. 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 So the song, and I'm sure you know what song I'm
Jack
talking
Black.
about.
Yes, it's stuck
Jack
in my
Black.
head.
That song, I've heard it twice, and it will not get out of my head. And somebody told me, I don't know if it's a joke, is it nominated for award or are they trying to get it to be nominated?
I don't know, it should be, actually,
It
I thought it
should
was
be.
great in the
It's
movie.
3 words.
No, well, it was in the movie, it was great, and I think he put his heart and soul into it. I watch TikTok, so there's a really funny TikTok where it's like the director looking over and going, "Does Jack Black know this is a kids movie?" Like he puts everything. It's
Right.
actually really, really good in the movie, and yeah, my son could not stop singing it either. So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, everybody's talking about it. It's definitely got a lot of buzz. Once again, I heard it and I'm like, no, really, that's a song. That's a song that people want people. Okay, we'll
I
see how
think
that
in the
plays out.
movie it makes more sense. I don't know. I haven't heard it outside the movie, but uh
I've heard it everywhere, and it is just, yeah, it's really interesting to say the least, right? But once
yeah,
again,
it makes sense
everybody
in
has
the
their own
movie.
thing, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense in the movie, and it I think he is hilarious in the movie and plays the part well.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I actually was surprised to find out that it was Chris Pratt, who I'm a big fan of playing Mario, because in the Mario I was like, oh, there's really not a lot of personality showing through in Mario at all, but
right.
for Bowser there was, yeah.
So I'll tell you. So one of my wife's favorite comedians. I'm gonna butcher his last name. It's Sebastian Maniscalco or something like that. He's an Italian comedian, and he had a TikTok where he actually came out and said, yeah, I tried out for Mario, and when I tried out for Mario, I did. Hey, it's me, Mario, right? In the gaming voice. And he said the directors looked at me like I was from another planet or something like that. And then he got another role in the movie, but so I could tell they didn't want to go with the actual Mario voice. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of butchered that one a little bit. So, but it's interesting. I think when I hear Chris Pratt, it's Chris Pratt, right? And I'm like, okay, it's just Chris Pratt, So
Yeah, I actually thought Seth Rogen did a good job. I think he played Donkey Kong or somebody like that, and I actually thought he did a pretty good job too. So uh, he was funny. Yeah, for a kids movie, it was surprisingly they put in some adult things in there and just funny things, especially if you play video games.
right.
I do have to tell you, I probably have 5 or 6 video game systems in my house. We're definitely gamers here. Uh,
Right.
in every sense of the word, we do D&D, we do gaming on video games, we do Discord, if anybody knows what that kind of stuff is. So definitely a gaming household, and uh, I don't think there's a system I haven't owned. Even from the 80s, the old Nintendo all the way up, if you're talking about Nintendos. But yeah, I thought there was some pretty funny things there.
I was a gamer up until maybe 6 years ago, and then I just got to the point where like, oh, I just don't have time for it. But D&D, I run D&D games. Just so everybody knows that Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, right? Not Do Not Disturb,
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Did that. All my kids, they just live on video games, right? And my older kids, right? My daughter's gonna be 30, my son's 26, my daughter's 25. Those are what I call my older three. They lived in that video game revolution, right? They came up when, Nintendo was busting out by the seams, right? We always joke around about used to blow in the cases, right? You just put it in just perfectly to get it to work back in the day, right? The old school stuff.
Yeah.
One of my horror stories, the worst story of my life is we were big Pokemon when Pokemon first came out, and it was on Game Boy, and you had the Pokemon Game Boy, and I had the blue cartridge, and I stood in line at Toys R Us. Yes, folks, Toys R Us back in the
Oh
day
yeah.
for 3.5 hours to get the special Mewtwo character on my Game Boy, right? And back in the day, you'd actually hand them the cartridge and they'd install it for you, and you get it, right? I'm like, I had Mewtwo and I had Articuno on that game. And I remember I had to go on a trip for work for a couple days. I was moving furniture way back when. Came back and I went to go play my game, and it was completely restarted from the beginning. And all my characters gone. Mewtwo was gone.
Oh,
Articuno was gone.
no.
My older three kids will still never admit which one of the three reset my game, but that was like painful. That was just
Yeah.
like the end of it for me. Like, oh,
Super painful. Yeah.
oh yeah. Mewtwo, once again, best character ever, folks. Mewtwo was still, in my mind, one of the best characters for games. But hey, it's just after 10 o'clock. So I think let's get started and chat a little bit about kind of the next generation of displays. So for those who don't know, Charlie Montoya, director of sales. I shouldn't just say sales. I don't know why I say marketing anymore. I've never been into marketing. Director of sales for UC interactive flat panels and all of our collaboration displays that we're working on right now. And then I got Amy with me from our home office.
Amy Phipps, Director of Marketing for MAXHUB, based out of Portland, Oregon. So coming to you guys from Portland.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about 21x9. Now, I don't know if I have 105 reasons why you should switch to 21x9, but I will tell you there's a lot of changes coming down the pike. So we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. So go ahead, let's hit the first slide here. So first things first, just so everybody's aware, right? Let's just set it out there. At Enterprise Connect, MAXHUB announced our first 21x9 display, right? So this is a 105-inch. This is like putting two 86-inch monitors side by side together and getting rid of the bar in the middle, right? That's how big this thing is. It's massive. It's monstrous. But it's our first 21x9, 105-inch display. It's a full 5K resolution, right? This is really designed, and I'll talk for a little bit, for certain types of new collaboration rooms that we're seeing coming to the market. Mainly Microsoft Teams Front Row. Extremely popular in that, kind of designed for that, right? It gives you the ability to do wireless screen share with our MAXHUB Share app. It actually has a OPS slot in it, so you can put your OPS in it and run it on your PC, so it becomes an all-contained unit from your PC and your display. Real simple to manage, real simple to maintain, gorgeous quality, right? I will say this once again, there's nobody in the industry that's going to beat MAXHUB when it comes to quality of displays. This you put it up against the competition that's out there, and you're going to be like, wow, they did it right. MAXHUB really did it right with not just the display quality, but the overall design of it and the audio quality as well. To give you an idea, we have similar speakers in our IFPs, and our speakers that are a little bit softer in our IFPs than it is in the 21x9. They push out 30, 35 feet easily. So a 216 watt and a 15 watt, yeah, you will definitely see a 35, 40-foot room pickup without any problems whatsoever. So great overall design, great overall setup. I know we don't have it in the slide, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Just so everybody's aware, as a price point on this, MSRP, you're looking $12,995, right? So just under $13,000 MSRP. If you take a look at our MSRP price and you compare it to the competition, you're going to see that we're less expensive. If you take a look at our price to resellers, you're going to fall off your chair, right? We really make sure that we take care of our resellers. And even on top of that, we have $1,000 off pre-order purchase, right? So we announced these at Enterprise Connect, shipping them in July just after InfoComm. If you buy them now, there's an extra $1,000 off MSRP. So it takes you from $12,995 to $11,995. You are not going to see a better deal in the industry. And oh, by the way, did I mention full 3-year warranty on it as well, right? Because that's what MAXHUB is known for. We want to make sure we take care of the customers. So quality-wise, price-wise, warranty-wise, you're not going to beat us. You're just not going to beat us, right? And there's not a lot of players in this marketplace today, so we are getting in very soon. And you'll see, we are definitely going to be changing the way that people talk about 21x9 and use 21x9. So let's hit the next slide real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, the videos you did at Enterprise Connect from Rave Pubs are also online too, if people
Yeah.
want to check out. The quality on this is amazing.
Oh, without a doubt, right? Without a doubt. And what I tell people is, and when I got up and close and personal, because I hadn't been exposed to a lot of 21:9 monitors myself, right? So I was really looking at it and going, hey, let me get an idea of what's going on, what's happening. At Enterprise Connect, Microsoft actually had a Microsoft Teams room with a 21:9 monitor in it. So I was able to get an idea of that as well. Here's what I'll tell you. In the industry for 22 plus years. And if you take a look at that center photo, if you take a look at that middle photo on the screen, that's what Microsoft Teams is looking to drive with 21:9 experience. And I will correlate this back to the older days of telepresence, right? Telepresence back in the day was you had 3 enormous monitors. And when I say 3 enormous monitors, they were like 65-inch, right? Because that's how big they were back then. That was enormous to them, right? 3 65-inch monitors with 3 different cameras that were pointing in a direction to give you that feel that you're getting that across the aisle look, right? I'm looking right over at them and talking to them. If you take a look at the Microsoft Teams front row call there, it's the exact same thing, right? So you're trying to get that look and feel like I'm in the room with you, right? That's what the 105 and the 21:9 especially is looking to accomplish. It's looking to accomplish creating a better overall conference experience and end user experience, right? Now, we'll say cost improvements, right? When people look at this, they go, wow, 13K. I don't know where the cost improvements are. When you start seeing more utilization out of the video conferencing room, that's where you're getting your better ROI, right? You start to see meeting rooms start to be used, start to be utilized more rather than the older complex conference rooms out there. That's when you really start seeing your overall ROI take place. And I will say this, I've been in some of these calls. I've tested some of these calls. It definitely feels to me like a more true experience. And in 2 ways, right? 2 ways that it feels like a better experience to me. First way is I get to see everybody at eye level, right? If you notice on that middle screen, everybody's at eye level. Everybody is sitting right in front of me, right? So Microsoft takes that front row experience and puts it all down in the bottom. So everybody that I'm talking to is almost at eye level to me. From there, the presentation is right above them. So rather than me looking off to the side to read a presentation like we typically do in a dual monitor setup, and now they get a side view of me. Now it's me looking at them to looking just above, looking at them, looking just above. The people on the other side get a much cleaner, much more straightforward image of me, right? So it's a much cleaner overall call. The other part that I'll tell people that I really like about this, and you know, we've been using Microsoft Teams for a while here at MAXHUB, right? We kind of use all the different platforms to make sure we're comfortable with them. When I use Microsoft Teams, I do love the fact that I have my chat features built into it. I have my presence information fit into it, so I can see it all on one screen. And typically when you try and emulate that in the conference room, it hasn't worked out too well. But now 21:9 really lets you have that home work environment experience in the conference room. I see the people, I'm able to see the data, I'm able to see people raising their hands, and I'm able to see the content all in one screen, right? So it really simplifies the overall experience for you. Also, I should say this, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to just to chat them out, ask them. I'm happy to answer them as we go along, right? So when you look at this today, yes, heavily designed for the Microsoft Teams world. I think, Amy, we got another slide on the next one. Can you jump to the next slide?
Yep.
Oh, actually, sorry, I have one question here that said, can you give us the overall dimensions of the unit? Height and width. I can actually pull that up for you. Well, I'm right here. Bear me a second. But I will tell you the other part about this is height, width is one thing, the weight on it, these actually weigh, I want to say about 225 pounds. I'll actually pull up the actual dimensions here real quickly for y'all. That way I can give it to you while we're here. Yep. And I'm actually just going to our website. Amy, where's that at on our website? It's on our products.
Yeah, it's under products and then the large format displays.
There we go. Let me pull it up here for y'all. That way you get an idea. Where's 105. I just saw it here a couple days ago. Sorry, folks, bear with me for a moment here. Oh, there we go. Okay, 105, 21 by 9, non-touch display. If you're looking at overall dimensions, oh, I don't have the dimensions on this. I apologize. I will get you all the dimensions before the end of the call. I apologize about that. I thought I had it on this sheet. I will pull up another sheet here in a moment and try and find it for you guys. But the 21 by 9, it really is, from my iteration when I saw it, it's about, I want to say almost 8 feet long by about 4 feet tall, but I'll get you guys the exact dimensions here shortly as well. I saw another question in chat. Oh, no, we're all good there. Okay. So if you take a look at a Microsoft Teams front row call, you're going to notice everybody's laid at the bottom. So I get that very straightforward look to them, right? When I'm on the call, that's naturally where my eyes go. Then you're going to have your chat feature. You're going to have your raise your hand feature on either side of it. That way you can keep seeing the chat. The one thing that I'll say this that I like about working from home is that we use the chat feature a lot more in the work from home environment than we ever have in the past. And people, as they're coming back to work, still like that chat feature. They still want to use that chat feature. So the fact that it's not there for them when they get back to the office, they're like, well, this kind of sucks, right? In that Microsoft Teams front row, they understood that, they listened, and as you can see, they delivered, right? So this gives you the ability to have your people on the bottom, your chat on one side, and then you can see everybody that wants to ask questions or just make sure that everybody's there on the other side. In the center of the screen is where you have your content, right? My presentation. So your presentation is still typically coming out around a 16 by 9 image. I'm still using my traditional laptop. I'm still using my traditional input to show off what's going on. So not a whole lot has changed there, but it's really the overall format and the way that it puts everything in together. That's where the 21 by 9 comes from. Now, I'll say this as well. I've got a lot of questions from people going, hey, great, Microsoft Teams front row, Charlie, that's awesome. But that's just Microsoft Teams. I will tell you, in talks with a lot of other companies, you are going to see this roll out to more platforms. More devices out there are going to be using 21 by 9. And it's not just because Microsoft Teams started using this 21 by 9 format. People at home are using more 21 by 9 format. People at home are using more of the ultra widescreen. People are going away from dual monitors and going to a single ultra widescreen. So we're seeing those changes start to take place and start to get embedded inside of the unified communication platform. So this is something that I feel Microsoft Teams started it. You'll start to see others start to follow extremely quickly and rather quickly. And I would say by the end of the year, it would not surprise me at all if we had 1 or 2 other companies that announced the 21 by 9. It's just a matter of time, right? So definitely see more and more. Oh, and actually I see what somebody pulled it up. Thank you for finding it for me. I appreciate that. 105-inch display, 96.5 inches by 41 by 36 inches. So big boy, right? Go ahead, Amy, next slide. So yes, we're launching ours as a non-touch to start. But I talked to my product management team, so I'm not getting in trouble with this. You will see us come out with a MAXHUB touch version of this, probably Q3 or Q4, right? So what are the differences? Why would I go with a touch versus a non-touch? A non-touch is going to work in your traditional conference rooms, right? Your non-touch is going to work in a traditional conference room where video conferencing is going to be the mainstay. Amy, do me a favor, go back 2 slides where we showed the room with the team set up in it, right? So there you go, that one. If I'm looking at this room today, and if I'm building that room, I don't need that to be a touch. Nobody's going to get up there and touch that screen. It's not set up for people to touch. So what I have heard from a lot of industry insiders, from a lot of consultants that we work with, and a lot of other cloud-based providers out there, what a lot of things that people are seeing is that in a room like this, in a traditional video conferencing room, it's going to be non-touch. But if they use a lot of collaboration, that there may be another IFP in that room off to the side that they use to do whiteboarding, and that will just be shown in the center of the screen as they do their presentation, right? So once again, 105 in this scenario, not going to be a touch, not planned for that to be a touch. So most conference rooms that are using it for video, they won't use a touch. They'll go more with a non-touch. And I think that's where our price points are designed to drive to, right? Keep it cost effective. Go back to that other slide, Amy, that we were at. Now, where are you going to need it for the touch? Well, once again, I think if you take a look, if anybody's bought a laptop in the last 2 years, you will notice 21:9 is one of the options that Microsoft offers for their displays. So you can easily share on a 21:9 monitor. You all have already seen our IFPs today, how simple they are to put content on the board, to share it wirelessly, to share it via USB-C, to be able to collaborate. That's going to be the exact same thing for our touch displays. It's going to be designed for those companies that are really doing more collaboration, more design, more engineering, right? People that want to make sure they can write all over the board. I had one very large, very well-known company in Florida come to our booth, and they loved our 21:9, and they wanted to see if they could have multiple outputs and multiple different layouts on it, so they could have storyboard on one side, video on the other side to take a look at it and be able to compare and contrast it. Those are things that we're working on. Those are things that you'll see most likely launch with our touch panel in the very near future. So much more to come. We are not going to be just a non-touch. We will be launching our touch version very, very soon. Okay. Go ahead, Amy, next slide.
Yeah, I'm glad that you talked with the PM team, not just sharing all of our secrets here.
Well, yeah, I asked them, I said, hey, you know what? Can I say this? I want to make it's your slide deck. I want to make sure I say it properly and don't get shot for it. So yeah. So once again, if you're looking for the traditional conference room, if you're looking for what Microsoft Teams Front Row is designed for, that's the room that Microsoft is looking to develop. This is the room that Microsoft is looking at and going, 21:9 works phenomenally well in this room. I have a large 109-inch screen monitor. I have a MAXHUB SO5 plugged into a video client. And now I'm doing my video conferencing calls at that desk, at that table, simply, easily using Microsoft Teams Front Row, right? This is kind of the go-to. And this has everything that you need in it, right? To handle your entire video conferencing call. So this is really what people are looking to try and go towards. And I'll tell you, when Microsoft talks, and they talk about the room design and the development, this is what they're looking at. This is what they're laying out for. Now, I know the question is going to be out there. Charlie, this is a 105-inch monitor, right? Is this really going to be the next generation of kind of small and medium rooms? Yes, it is. And it is because of the way people want to communicate and collaborate. Back in the day when telepresence first came out, I can tell you, Fortune 500 companies were dropping millions of dollars just to build a room that could talk to one other room, right? Because that's how telepresence work. It was room A talk to room B, right? And they simulate each other perfectly. With Microsoft Teams Front Room, I can get that same type of experience, that experience where I'm looking at somebody like they're right on the other side of the glass. I can look at them and see the content easily. I can look at them and get the chat features easily. And I can do that for a reasonable price with MAXHUB, right? Take a look at the product. If you look, I will still say this to y'all. Typical small huddle room, some of those get up to $11,000 and more just for a basic room, right? $11,000 or more. You can just add a couple $1,000s more and you can have a full immersive Microsoft Teams front row experience. That's what's driving this more than anything else. People want to have that immersive experience. They want to have that call quality. They want to have that look and feel. And they want the room to be utilized more effectively. That's what we can do now with the MAXHUB 21x9 105, right? So yes, definitely going to continue to grow. Go ahead, Amy, next slide. So talk about MAXHUB for a moment, right? We talked about our 21x9. But where are we going with this, right? How are we going to continue to design, develop, and build? Well, for MAXHUB, you all have seen this, right? We have the IFPs in the marketplace now. We now have the 21x9 105. We have our UC family of products. We have our DV LEDs. We are going to be launching MAXHUB Pivot and MAXHUB Align very shortly. That will allow you to manage, monitor, and control all these units either locally via an app on your laptop or in the cloud, right? To where you can actually log in, monitor, maintain, manage all these systems, create profiles, templates, schedule updates and software reboots. All that's going to be done and be launched probably in the next 60 days. It'll definitely happen by InfoComm. So be ready. We want to make sure we can continue to manage, maintain, and take control of all the systems that you have and make sure that you can manage them appropriately as well. Go ahead, Amy, next slide for me. So I want to touch on one other story here. Oh, go ahead. Pull up all the slides. I love this. Andy does this deck. I get a kick out of this. Even though for some reason the what's in the slide deck never comes out appropriately, right? It's always laid off a little bit, right? So really, for MAXHUB, what's the story, right? I get this question a lot. It's, what are you guys trying to do? Where are you trying to go? What do you want to be, right? And for us, we want to make sure that we can make a display that's going to fit all sizes of rooms, right? From the huddle room space, small, medium, large auditoriums, we're now working on outdoor DV LEDs, so you can have outdoor displays as well. Not only do we want to make sure that we can have the displays available for you, but we want to make sure that we have the peripherals that can integrate the cameras, the speakers, the microphones, the all-in-one systems, right? Like our all-in-one IFPs, to make not just purchasing it easy, but making installation that much simpler, right? We're also worked on our own management tools, but we're not stopping with our own management tools. We're starting to work a lot more with third-party management systems. So we can bring our products into their umbrella and they can manage our units, right? So whatever system you're using out there to manage your displays, to manage your UC products, you're going to shortly see that MAXHUB is going to roll into that as well. So you're going to have one simplified solution that's going to be able to manage everything that you have. The other big part for us is integration, right? My whole career, everywhere you've gone, if you've ever seen where I've been in my past, I've always felt that no one company can do it all by themselves. No one company has all the answers or all the solutions. They just don't, right? Companies think they do, right? Cisco thinks they do. Microsoft thinks they do. They always think they do. And they might be right in some cases. I'm not going to lie. They might be right in some cases, right? But for MAXHUB, we know we're not going to create everything and be able to be everything. So our biggest focus for the remainder of this year and beyond is continuing to integrate with major manufacturers that also integrate into the conference rooms, right? Whether it's additional audio, whether it's additional cameras, whether it's additional lighting, management tools, control panels, whatever it may be that fits in, we want to make sure that we can fit in those ecosystems. Because we know a lot of our customers out there today have spent a lot of money on building their environment and their ecosystem. And we want to make sure that MAXHUB plays extremely well in that environment. We know we can give you the best quality. We know we can give you the best price points. And we know we can give you the best warranty out there. Sometimes the only thing that stops us is that we're not invited in that ecosystem. And we're changing that. We're changing that, right? We are starting to work more and more hand in hand with a lot of the other third-party manufacturers to make sure that we can work in those ecosystems and in those environments, right? And security and reliability, that's always going to be key for us, right? We always want to make sure that we can make our products secure and reliable. So one of the things that I want to say, hey, Amy, do me a favor, go back to a couple slides to where we showed the touch and non-touch. I'm gonna let one more thing slip out today, just so you know, right?
I should have just called this presentation like Infocom spoilers, Charlie. All my stuff. One more. Go back one more.
Go back. Yeah, go back like two more slides, one more slide. That slide right there, right? So I'll say this, right? MAXHUB 20x1x9, 105. Charlie, it's amazing. It looks great. You got a great price point. What are you doing about touch? Well, hey, great. We're coming out with touch in Q3. Awesome. Touch in Q3. That's great. Another adding to it. Folks, we're not going to stop there. We're not going to stop there. We already have plans for other sizes that we are going to launch as well, because we know the 105 is what the industry is looking for today. But we already have been talking to a lot of people that go, 105 is awesome. Just need a little bit smaller. And then we need a little bit smaller than that, right? Because there are different room designs. There are different options that we need to put in place. Two 86-inch monitors might not fit in the room that I'm in right now, right? So you need a pretty big wall for that. So yes, we are going to be launching other sizes. And if Andy's on this call, I'm probably a dead man, but it's okay. I'm fine with that. I've lived a good life. But yes, we're going to continue to develop. We're going to continue to grow. So you will see other sizes launch us most likely end of this year, beginning of next year. But that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is not just stick to the 105, come with other sizes that are going to launch as well. So be prepared. A lot more on the way. Once again, I said this before when we launched our IFPs. This is just our starting point, right? This is just the starting point. MAXHUB isn't going to stop. We're going to continue to grow, develop, innovate, and come out with more pieces of the puzzle to make sure that everybody's life is a little bit simplified, and definitely everything's a little bit more cost effective for people. So, got one other question. Products look great. Any plan to aim for TAA compliance to open up things to secure government verticals? So I will tell you, we are probably 18 to 24 months out from being TAA compliant, right? Right now, we're building everything. As everybody knows, MAXHUB, we are the brand for CVTE. CVTE is one of the largest OEM manufacturers in the world. CVTE is like, 40% market share of IFPs worldwide. So we do it really well. But yes, our manufacturing today is in China. We are looking to change that, grow that, and expand that out. So I figure in the next 18 to 24 months, you'll start to see more TAA compliance start to come into market. So it's just going to be a matter of time before that starts to roll out. Another great question, is it Android? Yes. So just so I know, and I apologize if I didn't go into it too much. Our 105 does actually have an Android system built into it. It's very small. The design for Android is simply to run our MAXHUB OS on it, make it simple to use, as well as to allow for wireless screen share with our MAXHUB Share. But most customers that are going to use our 105 are going to either put in their own their own OPS into it to run it as a Windows device, or they're going to sit there and plug in their PC to it via USB or USB-C to run a BYOM meeting, right? So either one of those two ways are going to happen. Does have Android today. More specs on the Android will be coming out very shortly. Okay. So hopefully you learned a lot, right? I mean, I would tell you, every time I talk to people about the 105, just a couple quick questions they go over. Charlie, can I scale up a 16:9 to 105? Charlie, who else besides Microsoft Teams is going to use a 21:9, right? And 3 is, dang, is that thing really that big? So let's start with those questions backwards. Yes, it really is that big. It's monstrous. It's big. It's huge, right? And it's heavy, right? You got the
Get
dimension.
in an elevator. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a big one. Can you use it for anything else besides Microsoft Teams? Yes, a lot of companies are looking to use this in different applications outside of Microsoft Teams, and you're going to start to look at other major cloud providers start to move in that direction as well. It's just going to be a matter of time, right? And 3, what if I have a 16:9 laptop? Actually tested this. You put a 16:9 laptop in, you're just going to see the bars, right? So I can shoot a 16:9 laptop. But laptops that are a year or 2 years old typically will have 21:9 aspect ratio on it. So I can throw it up on the screen as a 21:9. I had a person that just messaged saying dealer cost. Can't answer that over a video. Happy to answer for you directly though. Feel free to email me at charles.montoya@maxhub-usa.com. And I will send you out the price list and get you more information on the pricing. So because we keep these webinars open to everybody, both resellers and end users and distributors, we really don't like to talk about anything more than MSRP. So, but if you have any resellers out there that are interested in pricing for it, reach out to us, let us know. We're always happy to help. So